I tried Weight Watchers, I tried calorie counting, I tried hypnosis, I tried Mounjaro, the injection, which does work. But as soon as you stop using it, it comes back. The weight comes back. It comes right back because you haven't learned any tools. Low carbs, no carbs, um, Atkins, and uh, just so many different diets. I tried them all. And, they worked, but it was always temporary. But with this, it's a way of life. I've lost 19 pounds and I'm losing inches everywhere.
Hi everyone, this is Nancy Davos and welcome to this episode of Ask an X. Every Ask an X episode features an inspiring story of a CBQ program member who broke up with destructive habits and found freedom. And the X I have with me today achieved food freedom with the CBQ program, and she's here to tell you how she did it. Please welcome Teri Edge. Teri, welcome again, and huge congratulations on your success.
Thank you, Nasia. It's wonderful to see you.
Likewise, and excited for round two. Your previous interview about quitting smoking inspires so many people, and I'm just so excited to have you back and share about your food freedom journey. So, can you tell me what food freedom means to you?
Yeah. To me, it means that I am free to choose whatever fuel that I want for my body and that it's no longer dictated by my emotions. So it's a great feeling because I've struggled with it all my life. And it's a great feeling to be able to look at cookies or candy or cake or anything with tons of sugar or processed food and just be like, I don't have any desire. It's like I don't feel compelled to eat it. And it's a great feeling to have that freedom because I never had it before. It's just so nice to be able to be in social situations and to be able to just politely eat what I want to eat and just be myself and not be dictated by, oh, I have to try this and I have to try this. And, it's just like I'm finally free from that compulsion to keep eating and to eat when I feel sad or lonely or tired or angry. I don't feel like that anymore. I know of so many other tools that you gave us to use when we're feeling that way, and I don't have to overeat to fill up that hole, that emptiness that you feel. And it's a wonderful feeling. And I'm so glad somebody finally taught me about that.
Well, of
Thank
course,
you.
and of course. And what you described food freedom perfectly. This is what it's all about, to feel free and be yourself, be authentic to yourself, and not have this compulsion and this food chatter
Yes.
all the time, right?
Yes, that food chatter is just so annoying. And I'm so glad it's gone. I mean, I would sit on the couch and watch TV, and part of my brain would be thinking about what's out in the kitchen that I can eat. It was ridiculous, but it's gone for the most part. And when it comes back, I know I can control it.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, for years, um, people have been telling me, teachers and nursing instructors in school and scientists, you know, that we only use a very small portion of our brain. And they've been telling me that forever. And I've always thought to myself, well, it would be so nice if somebody would elaborate on that and teach me how to use. a little bit more of my brain and teach me how to control my thoughts a little bit. And you did that with the stop smoking and then with the eating. And I feel now like I can, like I have some control over my brain and I can just look at it as a passing thought. I can say,
Yeah.
oh, you know, it just choose to ignore it. It's so freeing, the whole thing. I quit smoking and never looked back. When when I see someone smoking, I feel sorry for them and I want to help them. It's a whole different, it's not like I want to go join them.
Yeah.
It's gone. And it's the same way with food. I don't feel that compulsion to fill up my emptiness with food. Instead, I try to, improve my relationships and talk to people and tell people how I'm feeling. And um, it's wonderful, really.
Yeah.
I forget
Yeah.
the original question,
Oh,
but I,
me too. So it's it's not the problem. You said something so empowering that you learn to access a part of yourself, a part of your own mind that allows you to feel more in control of your own thoughts. And that has led you to have more freedom. And this is what this is all about.
yeah, and it took a while for me to figure it out but I did figure it out in the smoking class, to look at my thoughts and just realize them for what they are. They're just thoughts. They can't make me do anything. They can't change me. You know, it's just a thought. It's a passing thought. I can ignore it or I can look into it and see what I think it means.
Yeah,
But it's very free.
yeah,
And I never could do that before. And I do that even in conversations sometimes with people. I instead of saying exactly what I'm thinking, I try to I try to try it out in my head first and think I want to be authentic and I don't want to hurt people. But I want to still be myself.
mm,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah,
anyways, it does help a
yeah.
lot.
What I'm hearing is that you're feeling more in control in your own mind, whether that's in a conversation or when you are within yourself. And
Yes,
mm, and
exactly.
Terry, you mentioned that you've never had that before, at least with food. So can you tell me a little bit how food, your relationship with food has been like throughout your life?
Okay, all through my life, I used food to well, it started actually very young. I mean, I can remember my mother. She loved to cook and she was a great cook. And she encouraged us to eat everything on our plate. And we always tried to do that to please her. And, have more, have seconds, do this, do that. And then I can remember being a little bit afraid of storms. And she was like, we're going to watch the storm and we're going to sit in front of the window and you're going to sit here and eat this Tootsie Roll Pop, and I'm going to eat one, and we're not going to be afraid. I mean, food was like the center of everything. And so that's how I grew up. And it was a great childhood. It really was. But food is how I coped. It was how I celebrated. It was the center. It was around every birthday, every holiday. Um, it was just the main event. And when really, like I just had Thanksgiving and a Christmas after I finished the Food Freedom. Um, it's so cool to not fuss so much about the food and obsess so much about it, but to sit down with different relatives and just have a really nice conversation with them. It just feels better. I was always worried about the food. Is there going to be enough? Are people going to like it? I'm still concerned about that, but I am also making sure that I am enjoying myself and talking to people and um, it was a better Christmas. It was a better Thanksgiving because of it.
Yeah, wow. And I know you love taking care of your family and
I do.
enjoying your time with them. So something that used to revolve around food, now in your mind, it's more about the people and the relationships, and that has allowed you to enjoy it more. And
It
that's,
has.
yeah, and that's so important, Terry, because don't we think that if we change our eating habits, then we won't be able to connect the same way with people over food? But
Yes.
yeah, the opposite
Yes,
is true.
it is. And I just love that realization. And then the other thing that's really kind of cute is I have healthy food available for people. I have a fruit tray, a vegetable tray, things that, and I have it down where the kids can get it. And they choose the fruit and they choose the vegetables. And so I just have it always available for the grandchildren now, a little tray on the table that they can come over. And it's just really wonderful to be able to influence them a little bit so that they don't have to learn everything the hard way, like I did. Just so that they can, and they play and they're different than we are because they don't have all those preconceived, I got to do this right. I got to, you know, and they just enjoy themselves. They just enjoy themselves, and they love to play and they just relax and they're their true selves. And children are just really fun to watch and observe and think, I need to be more like them.
Yes. Yeah.
But
That,
the food is just life changing, really, because food, I thought to myself when you first had this program, I thought, I don't know if this is going to work 100% because with cigarettes, everybody knows they're bad. Everybody hates them. Everybody wants to quit now. Everybody wants to quit. Very few people are like, I love this. I'm never going to quit. There are some people that are like that. And there was a time when I was like that. But with food, you have to eat it to live. So I kept thinking, I can't get it out of my life completely. So how am I going to do this? But you showed us how, and it made it so easy, with I thought it was really nice how you uh, gave the example of Michelangelo's David and how he stood and looked at the marble for a while and didn't even begin. And little by little, with practice, I learned not only to give up food, bad food, but that it didn't taste good anymore. My palate changed. You said it would. I wasn't sure if it would, but it did. I mean, it's just like, ooh, if I taste something too sweet now, it's just like ick. It's not, it's not like, oh, that's so good. My palate changed, my mind changed about it. I don't see it as a reward or as a way to fill my emptiness. It's just food. It's just fuel for my body. And it's going to be good fuel,
yeah.
because I don't want those mood swings. And I don't want the kids having them either. I mean, my grandchildren, when they're here now, they choose the good food. I mean, the other food is there for them. If they want it, they can have it. But they choose the vegetables and the fruit, and they choose real food. And their moods, they're not cranky or crabby, or it stabilizes their moods too.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to finally make all those connections. And
And
I
that
wasn't, go ahead.
about your grandkids. So how amazing is that they have seen you making different choices and now they're making these choices by themselves. I wanted to ask, it wasn't always the case. They used to choose the other food,
Oh, the cookies, yeah,
the
all the
cookies.
time. Candy, chocolate. Yeah. Do you have any of that, Grandma? Nana. That's what they call me, Nana. And I sometimes think, are they like I used to try to make my mom happy by cleaning my plate. And I think that they know how like I play that trasher,
Special trash.
yeah, smash or trash with them. And it's funny because they will say to me, "Oh, that's trash." And I'll say, "Yep, it's trash." And they think it's hilarious. And they're little. My oldest one is 7,
Yeah.
and the other ones are 2 and 3. And it's just like they think it's funny and fun. And I don't know, they want to please me like I wanted to please my mom. So, they'll walk over and see if I'm looking and they'll choose the good food. And then they'll
Wow.
wait for me to say, "Oh, that's so good. You like carrots. I can't believe it. I love carrots." It's just so funny. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just love I love it. I love it because I love them so much and I want them to grow up to be healthy. I really do. And the sugar, it's people are finding out that it's feeding cancer and it's doing all kinds of really bad things. And I just think that it's a great way to live without it.
Yeah.
And the way you told us about how big tobacco brainwashed us and everything, and then you told us that um, R.J. Reynolds bought Kraft, right?
Philip Morris. Yeah.
Philip
Kraft.
Morris, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are truly out to get us. I mean, not that I'm paranoid, but they are. They want us addicted to all this junk and processed food. And, it just is amazing to me. And it makes me angry that I fell into it for so long, and that it's amazing to me that
Yeah.
they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to do that to people.
Yeah. And people, we don't know. Nobody's telling us
No,
this. Someone has to go and search and find out, but it's not something that is in the news and there are editorials about educating people about health. I would sure hope so that changes, but that's not the case. So most people don't know and they're living their lives. They go to the store, they buy what's there. They're not inquiring because everyone is busy and just trying to get through
yeah,
life. So
everyone
yeah,
is busy. It is true. But, Nasia, they should teach this in high school.
I agree.
We have so many classes in high school that are really not that important for life, but they should have classes about nutrition and about how it connects with how you feel. And how mental health is so um, important. And, I think kids would really benefit from learning all of these things. And, I can teach my grandchildren and my children, but I think everybody needs to have this information.
Yeah.
And I just really wish they would start teaching it in high school and grade school to these children because they pick it up so easily,
Yeah.
and they understand it so easily. And here I am, 65, and I'm reading every label I can and going, oh my gosh, this is full of sugar. This has seed oil in it. This is terrible. I didn't know. I'm a nurse. I didn't know. I mean, I knew a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a nutrition class, one class, I think, in
Yeah.
3 years of nursing school.
Yeah.
You need to have a class every semester on it until you're out. starting in grade school,
Yeah,
because that's how important it is. And that's how good you can feel. And you can feel this way your whole life if you start when you're little.
yeah,
I mean, there's
I agree.
it's just amazing to me that they don't teach it in schools.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And when you learn it young, it becomes part of a good food programming instead of a bad food programming that everyone that you see around you. And not only they don't teach that in school or nursing school. I mean, you had one class. Many medical schools are not having nutrition classes.
Yes.
I studied psychology, and we know how much food affects our mental health. We know that all the science about how sugar affects depression and anxiety, and we didn't have a single class of
Yes.
nutrition. So, yeah, something needs
And
to
the
change for sure.
physicians that the doctors of today, they don't focus on that, not the ones I know. They like the bio boost. That was your creation. You studied how the Nordic people would eat before they went out on these journeys. And, you made this wonderful drink that looks terrible. And the first time I tasted it, I thought it was terrible. But it really, I don't go a day without it. And I feel healthy. And I have not been sick. I better knock wood. I
Yeah.
have not been sick since September when I started drinking the Bio Boost. I mean, doctors need to realize that food is medicine and it is very, very important to our health.
Mm.
And they need to make people understand that they could be great teachers, because everybody thinks that doctors know everything. I mean, everybody listens to their doctor, I think, and they're
Mm.
like, well, my doctor said, you know, and they could really do a huge public service by helping people. I mean, we pour all these vitamins. I remember asking you, so should I still take vitamins? And you said, you can, but you have the bio boost, and I am still taking a C and a zinc and something else. But the bio boost, I won't go without it because I feel good all the time. I have let the kids try it, but they're
They're
like,
not ready for this yet.
they're not ready for bio boost, but they'll eat a smoothie with fruit and stuff like that in it,
Yeah.
which is good for them. And you can sneak some spinach in or whatever, and you can't taste it, and they'll eat that. But yeah, they say no, Nana. Uh, I tried it and I didn't really like it, but I love it, and anyways, I just want to compliment you on what you're doing to help all these people. I think it's
Thank you.
wonderful. I just wish that everyone was like you, teachers, doctors, you know. I mean,
I
you
appreciate it. Thank you.
it's
Thanks
wonderful
a
that
lot.
service you're providing to people, and
And I
and
love
then
it.
I in turn, I know you, I can tell you
Mhm.
love it. You're like,
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I can tell you mean it, because sometimes I say, don't work so hard. And you say, I like working, you do, you love it. I mean,
Well,
there's
yeah.
not too many people that can say they love their work,
Yeah.
Nasia. I mean, that's a blessing in itself.
It is a blessing. I'm really grateful to have found this my mission in life. So yeah. But thank you so much, Teri. That means a lot.
And congratulations on your award. 3 years in a
Thank
row. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Very welcome.
And uh, and Teri, I know that so you mentioned how you wish more people just looked into things, used food as medicine. We had a healthier eating culture that somehow gets worse and worse, and I hope it starts getting better and better. And and you are someone who has tried literally everything to lose weight, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me a
I
little
tried.
bit about what you've tried?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I've tried everything. And I can be successful for a short amount of time. I can lose the weight just by creating a calorie deficit and you know, but it doesn't last. And it's always been like such a roller coaster for me with the clothes and my clothes. I have so many different sizes and I go up and down and sometimes in the same year lose the same 30 pounds. I mean, it was exhausting. I tried Weight Watchers, I tried calorie counting, I tried hypnosis, I tried Mounjaro, the injection,
Mm.
which does work, but as soon as you stop using it, it comes back. The weight comes back.
What
So
happened with that? Can you elaborate a little more? Because that's
it,
such a hot topic right now,
it is a
the
hot topic
injections.
right now.
So how
They
did you
work.
take it? Hmm.
It stops the food noise.
Okay.
It does. And that's huge. And I injected, I'm a nurse, so it wasn't a big deal for me to inject it into myself because, um, the science behind it sounded good. And I thought, this is just an impossible thing for me to stop overeating. I'm not ever going to be able to do it. This was before. And I thought, I'm going to use this. I'm going to try it. And so I did it once a week. And I did it through a doctor, and they would tell me when I needed to increase it. And I lost the weight really rapidly too, which, by the way, is not a good idea because you get all these wrinkles and,
Mm,
your skin doesn't have time to recover.
right.
And, with its elasticity and everything. And even when you're older, it's even worse.
Mm,
But it worked. And I mean, the weight came off very rapidly. But when I turned 65, the insurance would no longer cover the medicine, and the medicine is like $1,200 a month. Who can afford that? I was paying $25 a month, like a copay. So it was very affordable for me, and it worked. And I felt great. And I did not really feel great. It makes you nauseated. Um, and it slows down the digestion process. So you always feel full, and it's not really a healthy way to lose weight. I mean, I felt tired, cold all the time, and sick, nauseated, but I didn't throw up or anything. But I did lose the weight, and when I was done, I had achieved my goal really quickly, and I thought I looked pretty good and I looked okay in my clothes and I felt comfortable again in my skin. And then when I turned 65 and I couldn't get the medicine anymore, I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to use willpower. I'm just going to have to go back. And when I tried to go back, I couldn't. I mean, the willpower didn't work. It just, as we know, you taught us that. Um, but I just gradually and very slowly gained back, well, actually, very quickly gained back all the weight because I was really hungry. Everything tasted good again. I didn't feel sick anymore. It was just, I felt healthy again.
mm.
It's not the way
And,
to do it
and
because now I feel healthy and I feel I don't have to use willpower. I don't like the way this stuff tastes, the sugar, even alcohol. I told you that. I don't want to put anything bad into my body.
mm,
I just want to put good fuel into my body. And with the GLP-1 drugs, they make you feel kind of sick.
yeah.
So it's not really a healthy way to lose. And then when you go off of the medicine, it comes right back because you haven't learned any tools. You haven't learned any tools. of
Yeah.
how to like just it's a quick way to lose weight, but it's temporary
Mm,
and you don't feel good.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Terry. And do I remember correctly that you you lost you gained back more than what you had lost with the Mounjaro?
Yes, I did. I did. I gained back even more weight, and I'm not really sure why that happened, but it did. And I think that um, I can see how people are so desperate to lose weight, though. I
Yeah.
do understand that
Mm.
because, I was that person.
Yeah.
I didn't like being overweight and I didn't feel happy and I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And I was always on a diet, just always on a diet of some sort, you know, uh, low carbs, no carbs, um, Atkins, and uh, just so many different diets. I tried them all. And, they worked, but it was always temporary. But with this, it's a way of life now. It's just how I am. And I know I'm gonna continue to lose weight. And then my body will get to a place where it is happy, where I feel good, and I won't have to try to get there. It's so easy. It's just a normal part of my day. And it's just so easy, and I don't have to spend a crazy amount of money trying to figure it all out. Everything's expensive. Weight Watchers is expensive. Everything's expensive.
Mm.
Mounjaro is ridiculous, and even Ozempic and the semaglutides are all very expensive too. It's just it's not a way of life. It's not a natural way. It's not natural. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you can do it, and I think anybody can do it this way if they learn from you. I do think that anyone can do this. And it is just, your life just changes. I feel good. I've been walking, like, I walk for 30 minutes a day, which might not sound like a lot, but for me, that is
Yeah.
really good. And I walk fast. And I prefer to walk outside, but I have a treadmill and I put it in my son's room because he is married now and doesn't live here. And the TV's right there and I can just walk and watch
Mm.
TV, and I made it easy for me. You really have to make this whole thing easy for you. That's one thing I want to tell people is you can't make it complicated. You have to get really good at making the bio boost, and you have to make it ahead, a couple days. And if I was working, I would be making it a week ahead.
Mm.
But since I'm retired, I make it every 2 days fresh, and in my head, I think it tastes better. I don't know. But you just have to make this whole process easy for yourself. You have to just think, I'm going to eat real food. If it looks like it's real, if it came off a tree, or if it's protein, a fish or a animal, whatever, I'm only going to eat natural food because that is what my body needs. And if I'd have done that a long time ago, I'd have been so much better off. But anyways, I'm lucky that I know it now and that I can teach it to my grandchildren. So
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
Yeah. Of course. And you said everything you described, Terry, it's just so good. So when you were taking the Mounjaro and all these injections work like that, this just reduces the food noise. It makes you feel kind of sick, so you don't have that much appetite, but you don't feel healthy. Um,
Mhm.
it brings you down, and if you stop it, you gain the weight back because you didn't change the relationship with food.
Right.
That's why, and we know it. And taking it forever, it's not a healthy, sustainable way to live. Um,
No.
we don't even know of the long-term side effects, and
We don't know. Yeah, that's huge.
um, but we can assume correctly that they're not good, and more things are coming out. But what is so inspiring is that you don't have the same food noise like you had in the past, and you did that naturally, and you feel
Yes,
amazing, you have
I
energy,
do.
you feel good. So by putting a little bit more effort in investing in your own mind, everything changed, and you've done naturally the same change, which is
Yes,
incredible.
yes. And that sums it up beautifully because that's exactly what happened. I
Yeah.
just all of a sudden, after I went through your program, during the program, like it was a gradual thing, just like the Michelangelo thing. It was a little bit at a time, and I didn't even realize it was happening. And it happened, and then all of a sudden, I mean, my family, they make wonderful cookies and wonderful food and wonderful sugar stuff, but it doesn't even taste good to me. I tried it. It just was like yuck. And I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful that I don't crave that anymore and that I don't, and it wasn't that hard, I mean, it really wasn't that hard to give it up. I mean, a couple weeks, I mean, I had some cravings and, kind of, those thoughts come into my head and I
Hmm.
think, oh, geez, a whole life without sugar, I can't imagine it. But
Right.
it wasn't that hard. It was easy and it's getting easier the more I practice it. Everything, everything's easier.
And
And it's
uh, I remember in the middle of the program that we had our call, and you were telling me, "Is this real? Because it's easy."
yeah, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It feels like magic. And I've always said that because it happens and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my. It's a gradual change, but it's like
Yes.
one day you wake up and you feel it and you're like, I wouldn't eat a piece of fudge if you sat it in my hand, or I wouldn't smoke a cigarette if you lit it and put it up to my mouth. I mean, it's amazing what your mind can do. And to finally have the freedom to help control your mind, um, it's a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah. You've given yourself and your grandchildren an invaluable gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have. And it feels so good to give it to somebody else. So I can see why you like your job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Perfectly said. Yeah. And I remember in the program, because everything we did was so gradual. Like, and at the beginning, it was so slow, so gradual because we were
It was
setting
so
all the
slow.
right. And um, you and everyone else losing a little bit of weight, but how are things now, and how did you experience your weight loss through this process?
In the beginning, I will tell the truth.
Of course.
I, it was slow, so slow. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to take me years at this rate. But then as we went along in the program, um, it it got easy. It got really easy. And I focused less on the numbers on the scale and just more on how I was feeling because I feel really good and I have a lot of energy and I feel really healthy. And those things started really mattering more to me. I don't know if it's because I'm older. I mean, if I say I was in my 20s, I probably would be like, yeah, I'm going to wear that bikini this summer. But, when you're my age, it's like, man, I feel so good. It's like the way you feel and the energy you have um, means a lot more. But anyways, to answer your question, which I always get off the subject,
I
um,
love it.
but I did lose weight very slowly in the beginning. And then I also have hypothyroidism. So that's going to cause me to lose weight probably more slowly than anybody else, but I'm on Synthroid, so I don't know. But anyways, I lost very slowly. And then after the program was over, I was just so happy. I had only lost, I think I only lost 11 pounds during the whole program. And it was months. It was 4 months, right? Or 3 months?
Three. Yeah.
Okay, 3 months. So, I mean, but 11 pounds, that's pretty good. That's about a pound a
Of
week,
course. Yeah.
and if I keep doing a pound a week, I'm going to be really, really, really little. But I hope I don't do that. But anyways, it was slow, but then I started seeing it, um, and feeling it, and oh, and the inches. I had this belly when I started the program that was unbelievable. I mean, my abdomen was like ridiculous. It looked like I had a beer belly, which I didn't, but it was just so I was always trying to cover it up, like wearing big shirts, big
Mm.
sweaters. I measured myself at the end of that program, and my abdomen was 5 inches smaller.
Wow.
That is so huge because my whole life I've been told you can't spot reduce, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't like do that. But that happened. It actually happened to me. I thought it was wrong. I remeasured and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I wear a lot of jogging pants and comfortable clothes because I babysit and do things like that. I'm kind of active. Um, but when I put on my jeans, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I've only lost 11 pounds, but I've lost 3 sizes. I mean, my belly was so much better, and everything started to fit. And I have some really pretty skinny clothes that I'm hoping to get into. And I have gotten into some of them. I'm in a size 10 jeans, which I'm really happy about that. But I have sixes in a drawer waiting because I am going to just keep losing until I am completely comfortable and satisfied. And that's the other thing. You start listening to your body.
Mm.
If my body is satisfied as a size 8, I will stop and I'll be okay with that. Because I know now when I never used to know when I was too full. I would just
Mm.
keep eating. And I afterwards I wouldn't feel good because I was so full. But now I don't have to say, okay, I ate 70% of that food, so I'm going to stop eating. My body knows. When I'm full, I just stop eating. I put down the fork and I start talking to who's ever sitting at the table. And it's just, I'm not, it's wonderful, really. I don't know how else to explain it.
I love this. And because it takes a bit of practice to reconnect with the body. But once this
Yes.
is done, it's a gift for life.
Yeah. I mean, so many gifts, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, so many. I can't even mention them all. There's just even getting up in the morning and feeling good and energetic and like happy to start the day. It's not like I'm dragging myself out of bed anymore. And, I don't even drink as much coffee as I used to drink. I drink, nurses, we drank coffee in the day, we drank it at night. It didn't matter because we worked shifts
Mm.
and we would drink a lot of coffee just to stay awake at night. So coffee wasn't really, doesn't affect me that much. But, um, but now I only drink 2 cups in the morning and I'm good. And that's really good for me because I love coffee. I really do. But now I don't drink it with anything in it, because you made us stop putting the powder creamer in and because you wanted us not to have anything until the bio boost. You
Yes.
wanted the bio boost to be the first nutrition that we had of the day. And I got used to that and I actually started liking it black, which is that's another
Same. Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
It's amazing. and then just everything. I mean, I wish I could think of all the examples of things that have changed. I drink more water, and if I don't, I am so thirsty. I mean, my body will remind me. My mouth gets dry, my lips get dry.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
always have a drink going, a water or bio boost or
amazing.
electrolytes, something good, some
Amazing.
tea, coffee, whatever. But it's wonderful, really, Nasia. This gift is, I recommend it to every single person, and I recommend every single person that you give the gift to give it to their kids or their family, their sisters, their brothers, their aunts and uncles. I mean, I just think it should be shared until everybody is just really
Healthy.
focusing on health.
I love it. Yeah. And Terry, so at the end of the program, you had lost 11 pounds and
Yes,
5 inches of your waist, which is
yes,
amazing for 11 pounds.
it
Now
is.
that we are 3 months later, right? 3 months later,
Right.
where are you at?
I've lost 19 pounds and I'm losing inches everywhere. Like, there's places where I wish I could have kept a couple inches. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but I didn't. And then there's places like the kids are always like, they're very frank,
Yeah.
um, very blunt, but they always say, Nana's shrinking. Nana doesn't have a big belly anymore.
Oh my
And then,
God.
yeah, they say really funny things. And, it just makes me feel happy though, because I mean, they can see it. I mean, even like the tops of my sweaters, my arms were big and I didn't really realize that. And everything, I'm losing inches everywhere. I'm measuring myself just about, I don't know, whenever I feel like it, maybe about every 6 weeks or so. But every time I measure myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Now my waist slowed down. It had to, obviously, but just that good nutrition, I think,
Yeah.
helped my waist. I
And you're
really
not
do.
hungry. You're not
I'm not
hungry.
hungry.
You're not dieting. You're not using willpower, right? You're just,
Zero.
your body's releasing that weight.
Well, that's the blessing of it. I mean, I'm not trying anymore. It's happening naturally, and that is so wonderful. I'm not preoccupied with it. I'm not counting calories. I'm not, but I love the visualization. That's another thing I wanted to say is that nighttime visualization is very good. I mean, when you said that if you visualize stuff, that your brain can't distinguish what is real. Do I have that right?
Yeah, on the neurological level, it cannot tell the
Yes.
difference. That's why when we watch a scary movie, we experience it in our body because we think it's happening. We know it's not, but we
That's
think it
true.
is. Yeah.
That's true. That's a great example. I didn't know that one. But yeah, so the visualization, I do it often, not every night, but I still do it. And
Mhm.
it even helps me sleep. It's wonderful to picture myself in a nice white suit and looking very put together with, you know, everything and just feeling so good about myself and comfortable. Like I'm comfortable. And just to have that feeling in your head, and it's just that visualization is key. For me it was.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, it
was.
really helped. I'm so glad you put that in the program. And
Yeah,
I'm so glad I can still listen to it.
of course, of course. Of course, I'm glad you enjoyed it and that you're still revisiting it because it's good to remind our mind what is our goal, what is our vision of our real self, how we want to be feeling. It just helps very, very much. And I
It
know,
does.
yeah, yeah. And So you've experienced all these amazing benefits. You've given yourself so many gifts and your family. And I also know that you said you're losing inches from everywhere. You're having more energy. You're feeling better. Your mood is better. And I think also you had mentioned something that about your knees that they don't hurt
Oh,
as much.
I have, I really thought I was going to have a knee replacement. A lot of my friends have had to have knee replacements because I had so much pain in my knees. And not just my knees, but sometimes it would go like I would have it on the left knee one day, and the next day it might be my right shoulder. And, the next day it might be my right knee, and then my left shoulder and hips. And, I had so much inflammation in my body, and I think it was from the sugar and the processed food. And I don't have it now. I do not have it.
At
It is
all?
gone. It is gone. It has not been back. I had it one time over Christmas, and I swear it's because I ate a cookie, just a part of one, just had a bite.
Yeah.
But the next day, that pain came back in my right knee. And
Wow.
I thought, I don't know if this is why, but I'm glad it did because it reminded me, like, I used to have to get help. Like, I used to have to hold on to things to get up off the floor when I was playing with the kids. I don't have to do that anymore. I mean, it is life changing for me. I mean, I don't know, I can walk without being tired and I'm sure releasing the weight off my knees has helped too. But I think it has to do with inflammation and sugar and processed food. I do because I feel so much better. It hasn't been back since that one day over Christmas, and it only lasted a day, but it was a miserable day because it reminded me of how awful that was. I mean, just getting up from a on the floor was like a problem. I don't have that anymore. I mean, I I bet you I would have had to have a knee replacement. My friends had to have them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've told them about this program. It's life changing. To just feel so good and not. I mean, my son told me he lives in North Carolina, and he told me that I don't get to see those two grandchildren very often. I go down about 4 times a year and then they come up here sometimes too. But I don't get to see them as much as I used to. But so if you don't see someone as often, you notice things more.
Yeah.
So he said, the last time you were down, Mom, he said, I did notice that you are really on our walks because him and his family, they love to walk. And even the little ones. And he said you kept right up with us, and he said there was such a huge difference in the way you walked, and I didn't know that, but that was kind of cool that he noticed that. And I told him everything about the program and um smoking. He was so grateful to you. He was so grateful. I mean, because he'd been trying to, since he started learning about how bad it was in grade school, from that time, I would have to hide to smoke because he would just be like, put that out, Mom. But he was so proud of me for that. And then when he saw how I could keep up with them walking and I talked and he could tell I wasn't having pain. And, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Just two huge gifts, really. And then the little gifts, like putting on my jeans and I don't have to lay down on the bed to zip them up, funny things like that. But it's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Oh, I
But
was
yeah,
so moved that you shared that because it's a walk, but it's from your son who doesn't see you that
yeah,
often, and he
yeah,
noticed, which means it was very evident before, and it just means you were
yes,
able to participate more in those invaluable memories with your
yes,
family. And that's
yeah.
priceless.
It is priceless. And
Oh,
he said that they've got a he lives in this community that has a really nice pool that goes with the little community there, and they have like little communities down there. But anyways, it's a really nice pool, and he said that I was excited to go to the pool, and he said that I wasn't usually like. And he said usually I was like, well, you guys could go to the pool, and when you get back, we'll play. But I wanted to go to the pool, and he said that that was just really kind of cool, and the kids liked it too, you know. But
Oh, Terry.
it's just my life is different in a good way, a very good way.
Yeah. Well, huge congratulations on making so many changes in your life and investing in yourself and prioritizing your health and your well-being, because nothing happens without making that decision of I'm going to prioritize my health and my well-being. But sometimes this is the hardest part, allowing
Making the
ourselves,
decision
yeah,
in the
and
beginning,
allowing,
you're right. That was
yeah,
one of the most important things was
yes,
making a firm decision and saying
mm,
nothing is going to change no matter what happens.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what? Because life does happen.
exactly.
I'm going to go through with this no matter what
Yes,
happens.
exactly,
But
exactly.
that decision, and you told us that in the very beginning. I want to make sure there was one more thing I wanted to tell you.
Of course, take your time. And that allowing the time and space to do this and doing it imperfectly at times, just moving through it, it's the most important thing and sometimes the hardest part. And you've done it multiple times. So
Yeah,
huge
I agree
congratulations,
with
Terry.
you. It was, thank you so much, Nasia. I just want to make sure there was one thing that I just wanted to make sure I told you.
Of course.
But I went through my notes in preparation for this,
Mm,
and I remembered so much stuff, and I thought I should go through these notes every once in a while just to remind myself of all these things I've learned. Um, I think I did say that, just that, you know, you have to keep things simple so that you
yeah,
can
you did.
maintain them.
Yes.
And that was the thing that helped me a lot because,
Mm,
you know, you're not going to do something that you think is, oh, that is so hard. But now
yeah.
it's just second nature. So
Yeah.
it's just, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't,
That's great advice, Terry. The let it be
oh, I know what it
easy.
was. It
Yeah.
was return to baseline.
Mm,
When you talk to us about returning to the baseline, I love that because I learned a lot in Weight Watchers, even though I couldn't maintain the weight. I learned a lot. But I did not learn that. You know, like if I messed up and had something fattening or something that just wasn't, I knew wasn't good for me, I would just blow the whole rest of the day. I'd be like, I'm going to eat bad the rest of the day. I'll start over again on Monday or tomorrow. This return to the baseline that you told us, it's okay to do that, number one. And number two, the sooner you do it, the better. So I wanted to try the cookie to see how it would taste at Christmas. And I did. I tasted it. But then that was it. The next day, it was like I returned to my baseline. It feels good. It's like coming home. It's
yeah.
like, okay, I strayed a little bit, but I'm going back to my baseline.
Yeah.
And that, for some reason, that sticks with me every single day. You know,
Yeah.
that I can always return to my baseline,
Yeah.
you know,
That is
and
great.
things that were not, you said, um, some things are not negotiable,
Yeah.
right? You know, and it's not okay. Like, um, well, you never said anything was not okay. You never really said that. You let us decide for ourselves what we would keep and what we would give up. And I thought that was good because we had a choice in the matter. And I also like it that you realize that people can't be perfect. And so they can just say in their head, all right, I had a drink with my friends last night, but that's it. Tomorrow I'm returning. I mean, tonight I'm having one drink and I'm going to return to my baseline when I get back
Yeah.
from the bathroom or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
That was very helpful to me. And I hope people can put that in their head.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. It is a great lesson that is from this program. So it's not taught anywhere else, but it's one of the most important parts because everyone will have their own baseline. Some people may have alcohol in the baseline, some people may not, some people may
Right.
have sugars. So everyone is unique. And because we're doing that towards the end of the program, everyone is able to choose what they really want, not what their habits and routines and addictions want. They're able to choose what they really want from a place of freedom. And that's that means it's yours. It's your very own thing. And the other thing that's important, because baseline is key, just like you said, Terry, everything we're doing before in the program with our thinking patterns allows us to be able to return to that baseline, because it's not enough to just know I have a baseline and I return to it. Throughout the process, we're also resolving all those thinking knots, like this all or nothing thinking, this moral
Yes.
licensing. We're resolving that little by little so that someone will actually be able to go to that baseline as well. So it's a culmination of lots of little steps that lead to the baseline, but it is one of the most important parts. Yes.
Yes. It was very important to me. And so was the Joker. I love that analogy. The Joker and the sage. And, it's sometimes good to in my head think, now what would the sage say? Or it's just it's so you made the program kind of fun and interesting. And, the little examples you gave all through it stick with people because those examples, because they were entertaining and because they were really real, they are important to people because it helps you remember them, you know. I mean, I love the Joker and the Sage. Those were the best, funnest examples that you shared. I really like that. I enjoy all your programs and I encourage anyone to to participate in them if they have the opportunity. And I know I can do anything now.
Yeah, you can. Terry, that was amazing. I cannot thank you enough for everything you shared, your perspective, your story, your journey, your biggest takeaways, advice for other people. I know that what you shared will help people who are struggling to lose weight. They know that they have a dysfunctional relationship with food, but also people who are just starting or are in the food freedom program, to help them really make the most out of this process. So I know this will inspire so many others and show them that what is possible when you cultivate the power of your own mind, because you're a living, breathing example of that. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for saying that because I really, really want everybody to be able to do this. I think it's just such a gift. I mean, Nasia, I cannot thank you enough for all the work that you do and that you put into these programs because they work and they're great. And I just love it that I know you and I just love you. I really do.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, Terry. Of course, my pleasure. It's my joy to be on this journey with you, and having done two whole programs together. Um, yeah, it's been my absolute honor. So thank you so much for your trust.
Of course.
And to everyone watching, if you're here watching this video, please leave a comment below and let Terry and I know what you're taking away from her incredible journey that can help you in yours. We look forward to hearing your comments. And Terry, again, thank you so very much. I'm sending you so much love. It's been a joy talking to you again.
You too, Nasia. Have a wonderful week.